everyone. Today we are learning about conversion factors. So we're learning how to do math problems where you convert from one unit to another unit. So we're going to be on page 7, and the first thing we're going to do is write down the definition of a conversion factor. So a conversion factor is a ratio that is used to convert one unit to another. Okay, so let me give you some examples of conversion factors, and then I'll show you how they are used in math problems. So, here is an example. 1 kilogram is equal to 2.205 pounds. That's a conversion factor. That's the number of pounds in a kilogram. In the math problems we're going to be doing, we're going to be writing these as fractions. So because these two are equal, 1 kilogram is equal to 2.205 pounds, I can make a conversion factor out of them and set up a ratio or fraction like that. Another example, all of the metric units can be conversion factors. So for example, there's 1,000 millimeters in 1 meter. That's a conversion factor. And again, we could write that as 1 meter over 1,000 millimeters. And you can write it with the 1,000 on the bottom or on the top, as long as you get the units right. So 1,000 millimeters over 1 meter, or 1 meter over 1,000 millimeters. Both of those work. Okay. So before we start doing problems with conversion factors, let me show you something from math that applies to what we're doing in chemistry. And you don't need to write this down, but if you want to, you can. This is just an example of something that happens in math. So if you have something like this, 3x, so like the variable x over 2, times 5 over 6x. So I've got an x up here and an x down here. A lot of you guys can see and you know that those x's can cancel out because I've got one on the top, one on the bottom. You divide them, they cancel out and are just 1. Okay, so that is going to be the key to what we are doing in the problems we're about to start doing in chemistry, except instead of canceling variables like x, we're going to be canceling units. Okay, so we're just going to jump right into an example, and I think once you see what we're doing, this will be pretty easy to set these problems up. So, example number 1, we want to convert 1.53 centigrams, grams, not centigrams, 1.53 grams to centigrams. Okay, so when we do these problems, it's best to set up a grid. And our grid's going to be pretty simple for this problem. Some of them will get a little bit more complicated. But what we're going to do is we're going to put the number that they gave us in the top left corner of our grid. Okay, so that's just straight from the problem, 1.53 grams. Now my goal is to change that from grams to centigrams. So I need to use a conversion factor to get rid of grams and go to centigrams. So I know, hopefully you guys have memorized, that there's 100 centigrams in 1 gram. So what I'm going to do is make a conversion factor out of this and put it in my grid. And the way I want to put it in my grid is so that grams will cancel. So I'm going to take the 1 gram and put it on the bottom, and I'm going to put the 100 centigrams on the top. And now, since the grams are on top here and on the bottom here, they cancel out. They have to be on the top and on the bottom to cancel. If you put grams here and here, they won't cancel. You got to put grams here and here. So grams are gone. Between these, this bar right here, these two numbers need to be multiplied. So what we need to do is do 1.53 times 100, which would be 153, and that is our answer in centigrams. Okay, so that is how we use conversion factors to change units. Let's do another example. This time we want to convert 1,000 inches to feet. So again, I'm going to set up my grid. I'm going to put my number that they gave me down here, 1,000 inches. And I need to figure out a conversion factor from inches to feet. And hopefully you just know, like common sense, you know that there are 12 inches in 1 foot. So what we're going to do is we're going to put the 12 inches down here on the bottom and 1 foot up here on top. Again, my inches will cross out. And then what I always tell people to do is multiply all the stuff on the top. So 1,000 times 1 is 1,000, and we've got feet. And then multiply everything on the bottom. Now there's nothing here, but I've got a 12 down here. And now what I need to do to finish the problem is I need to do 1,000 divided by 12. So I'm going to go grab a calculator. Okay, so I've got my calculator. I'm going to do 1,000 divided by 12. And I got 83.3 repeating. Feet. Okay, I want to do one more example, and then you probably have enough practice to do the assignment. So example number 3, we want to convert 12 miles to inches. And I'm going to give you a little bit of extra information on this problem. There are 5,280 feet in 1 mile. Okay, now for this problem, I'm going to need more than one conversion factor, and I can do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my grid like this. And you might not know before you start the problem how many conversion factors you're going to need. So you can add like spaces to your grid as you go along. That's totally fine. We're going to start with 12 miles. Now I do not know how many miles are in an inch, so I can't go straight from miles to inches, but I can go from miles to feet. So I'm going to put 1 mile down here so that my miles will cancel, and 5,280 feet up here. My miles will cross out, and now I'm in feet. Now I want to get from feet to inches, and hopefully you know, and if you don't know, you at least remember from the problem before, that there is 1 foot in 12 inches. So feet cross out, now I'm in inches. Remember, the unit that you are trying to find should always end up on the top right spot. So now all I need to do is multiply across the top, do 12 times 5,280 times 12. And I got 760,320 inches. And that makes sense. So whenever you finish a problem, you should look at your answer and see if it makes sense. So 12 miles, that's going to be a lot of inches, right? Like there are many, many, many inches in a mile. So it makes sense that I'm getting a big number like this. If I didn't get a big number like this, I might want to go back and look at my calculations and see if I did something wrong. Okay? So that's conversion factors. Main things to remember are that you're trying to cancel your units. The number that they give you in the problem, put that on top. Multiply across the top, put that on the top. Multiply across the bottom, put that on the bottom. Divide those, and that'll give you your answer. If you have questions, be sure to email me or ask me in class, and I am totally willing to help you out.